Silly nickname, but widened his eyes in surprise when the brat disappeared. Were you looking for me, little dragon? Naruto asked from behind Crouch, then threw a magic attack so strong that it sent the evil dragon flying as if it were a simple fly next to a god. You may have experience and power, but you are very confident. Evil dragon. Krok, perhaps you have become old and need a retirement. Mocked the young Citri, wanting to bring the dragon out of his senses so that it would be easier to defeat him. Crouch, you may be right that I am confident, but now I realize that you are not normal. You have a very high level of demonic energy. You are not a simple demon. I don't even think that the Mayu have as much magical energy as you. Although I am somewhat surprised. A demon of your level would be impossible to hide. Yes, if you defeat me, I will answer everything. Dragon-san, it's time to start a real battle and stop playing. Don't you believe it? Asked the redid. Crouch smiled and increased his aura, forming a black dragon behind him, while Naruto also smiled and increased his aura, forming a very terrifying wide-eyed humanoid behind him. Both beings, both the dragon and the humanoid, looked at each other in a threatening manner, both giving off a terrifying aura that very few could resist. Not for nothing were they existences above medium and low-level gods. I release great sea of flames, shouted Naruto, launching a tide of fire towards the dragon, who did the same and launched his own flames towards Naruto, causing both attacks to collide with each other and cancel each other out. Everything was seen by Azrael and Kurama, who were curious about the battle. Both knew that Naruto would win. Now, both beings wondered how and if the battle would be difficult or easy for Naruto. Naruto frowned and in a burst of speed appeared in front of Crouch, throwing a punch that sent him flying. But he didn't stay there. Instead, he opened several magic circles, sending several water and lightning dragons towards the evil dragon, causing them to collide with Krok, causing a huge explosion. Naruto stared at the place of the explosion. He knew that this attack would barely do any damage to the strongest evil dragon, so he did not lower his defenses. After all, he was facing an opponent of the size of the celestial dragon. But attack, kid. You are strong, and you are definitely worthy of me getting serious with you, young Citri. I realized after receiving your attack, since it damaged me and not just any being could harm me. Not even high class or supreme class demons could harm me like your attack did now. Yes, I will go with all my power. You are not an ordinary kid, said Krok with a wild smile surrounding himself with flames. A large part of his body to cause greater damage to his opponent. After all, his opponent is worthy of him going seriously. Naruto opened his eyes in surprise. And with a sigh activated his Rasengan and activated his lightning armor. It was time to get serious. He had to finish the battle before the barriers that Kurama put up. Broken beings from other pantheons felt his power and interfered with his fight, which was getting interesting. Both opponents disappeared, colliding blows that caused shock waves where they were reshaping the landscape where they battled with ease. Lightning and flames went from one side to the other. The waves of power made the weather change, causing a storm around. Azrael saw everything with some amazement. He knew that Naruto was already stronger than any demon. But to battle in that way with that dragon that is said to even be among the 10 strongest beings was impressive. And now he realized. The demons did not know Naruto's power, since if not they would have forced a Citri to stay. And he knew that Naruto liked freedom and most likely would have killed all those old fossils of the demonic council. Even he believed that he would finish off the Mayu if they bothered him. Barama looked with a smile. He knew Naruto is strong. And he's going to get stronger. That brat was his pride. Now his former Ginuriki would show that fly how strong he is, and he'll see how they'll beat up that clumsy dragon. Kurama increased the power in the barrier so that no one in the different factions would feel them. But it would be problematic since they would have to deal with the stupid leaders, and he didn't want that, and even less Naruto hell. He knew that if those leaders bothered them, Naruto would kill them. Garamasan Naruto-sama is that strong, or is he still holding back? Asked Azro curiously. He wanted to know the power of his boss, and what he has seen so far is strong, but he still did not know how strong. Gramama raised an eyebrow, but answered anyway. Naruto is very strong for the moment. They are not going seriously. I know well that the power that Naruto possesses easily surpasses the current Mayu. And I think the only demon that may be at his level, according to what I was able to investigate, was the first Lucifer, said the Kyobi. Azel tensed at the name of the first Lucifer, since that demon was the strongest demon, a being that ranked in the top 10 of the strongest beings in ancient times, and was impressed that Naruto was so strong that he could equal his brother, the first demon. In the battle of Crom, Cruch, and Naruto, both entities of celestial dragon level or higher continued to fight in a destructive manner. In the battle, the evil dragon could be seen with several bruises and blood on his face, while Naruto had a few small blows, since thanks to his renazing, he was able to dodge most of the attacks with ease. I think it's time for this to end. Death Pulse, said Naruto, sending a huge attack of darkness towards Kromkurich, who, unable to move due to his wounds, had to receive the full attack, causing a huge explosion. When the smoke cleared, Kromkurich could be seen very weak and almost knocked out. But things didn't end there. Naruto sent several energy chains towards the dragon, trapping it, causing it to be unable to move. You accept defeat. Well, evil dragon, I don't want to hurt you anymore. As you may have noticed, I am much stronger than you. Although I have to admit that your power is amazing, said Naruto with a small smile. Kromkurich frowned, but sighing, he nodded. He lost fairly. He realized that the child was far superior to the devils. He thought that the child might be close to the level of Indra, close to that god, and Indra was no game for any being. It is not for nothing that it is said that Indra's power was on par with the two celestial dragons together, but rather surpasses both celestial dragons together. Parama, I see you're done, Naruto. I had to constantly reinforce the barrier with your battle against a dragon. And I must say, I'm a little impressed by your power, Crouch. The battle was interesting, Naruto-sama. Now I see that you are a demon who is far above average, said Azil. Very impressed by the power demonstrated. Thank you both. But it's time to clean this place up. We mustn't leave any evidence that a battle took place here, Naruto ordered. Kromkurich looked at everything with caution to the three individuals in front of him, since the boy in front of him was immensely powerful. And he realized that his potential was enormous. Devils at his age, he was defeated by a dragon that is in the range of a celestial dragon. So he realized how dangerous the individuals in front of him are. And he realized that it was a mistake to fight the boy. And he also wondered how the hell the boy recruited Azil, who was said to be even strong enough to match the current Lucifer, if not that angel was stronger than that. Siskin. Naruto, well, evil dragon Kromkurich, you are strong. I proved it when I fought against you. Now, what do you think about fulfilling the deal? You will join my nobility. Kromkurich frowned and gave the sigh of resignation. He is a dragon of his word. He will join the Citri child, but he will also warn him about the Cows Brigade now that he will be their leader and an ally. He had to be honest. Kromkurich. Fine, I'll tell you everything and join you, Citric. It's not like I have any other choice. Your power may Be on par with Indra. Well, your partner next to you may be on par with Thor. Typhoon. And Azrael is easily on par with a super demon. I don't stand a chance against the three of them. After Crom Cruage said that, he told Naruto everything about the Cows Brigade, who that brigade was made up of, and he told him about who the leader of that brigade was, and what their objectives were. Naruto, I see that the son of Lucifer is one of the leaders of that organization. It is very interesting. But the worrying thing is who is the main leader office. The Dragon of Infinity. A very dangerous being but still treatable. Crom Cruach raised one of his eyebrows in curiosity as he wanted to know what the boy in front of him was proposing. Naruto, noticing that he had caught the dragon's attention, began his proposal. Naruto, I propose that you join my nobility. You will have my protection and that of my group. And although you may not believe it, I will become stronger. You will not have to fear office. I know that with time I will surpass that dragon. In addition to that, you will be able to be with Azrael and Kurama and train with them. We could even train together to strengthen ourselves so we can raise your power. Brahm Crew's eyes widened in surprise, and he knew the boy in front of him was right. He knew that in a couple of years the brat would be at office's level. He estimated that he would be 5 more years old, and this child could match Shiva Cows the Primordial, or even Office the Dragon of Infinity. He wondered to himself what kind of monster the boy would be when he reached his full potential. It would be interesting to see all his growth. Besides, the boy spared his life and he couldn't detect any lies in the brat. It was better to be under the brat's command than the crazy son of Lucifer. Crom Cruach. Well, what do I have to do to join you? I find your proposal very interesting. I want to see your growth and see how strong you will become in the coming years. Nudo. Well, the only thing I ask is your loyalty. You can do what you want. As long as it does not harm my people, there is no problem. And well, simple. What you are going to do is join my nobility, as we agreed. These pieces will provide you with new abilities that you will discover, or I will teach you when we train. Brahm Cruach opened his eyes in surprise, as that would be very beneficial for him. He could also become stronger by training with a boy with a cowbell. And who knows, maybe the boy is someone worthy to serve. Not that he would like to serve someone, but he doesn't dislike it either, as long as the person he serves is worthy in his eyes, and the brat at the moment was. All this was seen by Kurama, who was impressed as Naruto convinced the strongest evil dragon to join him. But he also had a small frown, since the dragon was not yet trustworthy. Crom Cruach. Fine, I agree to join your nobility. I accept that you be my leader. I will be loyal to you as long as you do not impose your will on me. I still have my dragon pride, but I recognize you as my leader. You are much stronger than me. And you spared my life, so I owe you my loyalty. I promise to be your shield as long as you do not betray me. Naruto. Well, don't worry about that. You will be my new tower. Crom Cruach. Become strong by my side and defeat all our enemies with all your power. Crom Cruach. Fine. I'll follow you and I'll be your tower. I'll be your shield against any being that tries to harm you. Boss, I just hope you're still worthy. Pama. Well, since you agreed to join Naruto, I just hope you don't betray him, because if not, I will destroy you. I don't care who gets in my way. Half-breed, you will end up torn to pieces if you hurt my little brother. Budo sighed. Since Kurama may behave politely and well with him, although he was a beast with training, but with others, he behaves like __, he sees most of them as trash, especially humans. But even so, he will not harm them, since he knows that it angers him sometimes. His brother became Very overprotective. Prom Courage frowned at the Kyobi's threat, but said nothing. He knew that Fox was very strong. It was noticeable that he might even be stronger than the celestial dragons. Well, now we are allies. It would be better to fix the place and leave. We don't want anyone to know about this confrontation. I still want to be in the dark, Naruto said seriously. The rest of Naruto's nobility nodded in understanding, and sighed as they said about tidying up the place to leave no trace that a major battle had taken place. Meanwhile, in the underworld, the Mayusafol of Athen and the Mayujuka were meeting to talk about a matter of utmost importance, or rather a person of utmost importance. And this is Naruto Citri, the smallest of the Citri brothers, and a demon who in the eyes of the two Mayu is at the size of the Mayu. Which is impressive for someone so young. Well, Seraphil, you know what Naruto was doing. Some of the pillars have noticed that your younger brother is no longer in the underworld. What is little Naruto doing? Asked Ijuka, going straight to the point of this meeting. He was worried about Naruto. Yes, a little, but he wanted to know that the boy does not do anything stupid that could get him into trouble. Ijuka-chan, I know you're worried about my little brother, but he's not stupid or weak. My little Nurchan is strong. I even think he's much stronger than me. And maybe he can even be at your level. You don't have to worry about him doing anything wrong. The only thing I'll tell you is that he's recruiting people for his nobility. And if any demon, angel, fallen angel, or even gods try to harm any member of his nobility, he will kill them. I wouldn't hesitate to end up massacring anyone who wants to harm his nobility. Seraphil said seriously. Ijuka was surprised. He realized the threat of Seraphil if someone from the council or even a Mayu tries to harm a member of Naruto's nobility. The young Citri will jump to defend and most likely challenge or kill the people who tried to harm his nobility. And knowing well the power of the young Citri, he knew that very few demons had any chance of defeating him. Ijuka, I understand. And you don't have to worry. I'm not going to do anything to harm Naruto or his nobility. As long as he doesn't do anything to harm the underworld, I have no problems with your brother Seraphil. Seraphil nodded now that she knew that Ijuka wasn't going to do anything. She had to keep an eye on the idiot they had as Lucifer and the old goat leader of the Baal. End of chapter. Final top 10 of the most powerful stocks. This top 10 will be a future one. Naruto is not yet strong enough to be in the top 1, 2 or 3, but currently he is strong enough to be in the top 5 or 6. The top 10 that I will place as a future one. Top 10. Strongest stocks. Top 0. Prehisha, the beast of the apocalypse. The strongest beast. Great Red Apocalypse Dragon. The true dragon. Red Emperor. Dragon God. Beto Citri. The Ice Emperor. The strongest demon god of demons. Top 1. Office. The Dragon of Infinity, Dragon Goddess. Pa. The primordial goddess of chaos, mother of the Greeks. Bilgamesh. King of heroes, the strongest hero. Top 2. Belzard. True dragon. White Ice Dragon. Budora. True dragon. Storm dragon. Top 3. Shiva. God of destruction. Leader of the Hindu faction. The Madarasu. Goddess of the sun in the universe. Leader of the Shinto faction. Velgaran. True dragon, blazing dragon. Diablo. The black primordial. Lord of demons and magic. Top 4. Izanami. Goddess of creation and death, the primordial. Izanagi. God of creation, the primordial. Top 5. Vishnu. God of preservation and goodness, one of the 3 great gods of Hinduism. Brahma. God of creation, one of the 3 great gods of Hinduism. Top 6. Arthur Pendragon. Knight of Hope, King of Knights. Indra. King of the Devas and Lord of Heaven. Pramama. the strongest Kaiu, the nine-tailed Biju. Top 7. Thor, the god of lightning, the mightiest Norse. With Salk, the feathered serpent, the goddess of the wind. Brahm Kruch, the strongest evil dragon, the dragon of the crescent circle. Eststrasa, the white primordial demon lord of murder. Guerrera, the yellow primordial demon, lord of menace. Top 8. Tiffin, the prediction of the gods, the Greek destroyer. Agnalia, black dragon of the apocalypse, chaos dragon. Ahmed, king of dragons, dragon of chaos and justice. Blast, the purple primordial demon, lord of pain. Top 9. Aiden, all-father leader of the Norse supreme god. Cronus, king of the Titans, father of the gods. Merlin, supreme sorceress of infinity, Naruto's queen. Top 10. Zarif, black mage, calamity mage. Azil, the angel of death, death incarnate. Pades, Greek god of the underworld, the strongest Greek, the supreme god of the underworld. Buddha, lord of wisdom, the enlightened one. These are the top 10 of the strongest beings. Since Naruto has several beings at the top of the top 10, I think Agnoya and Bahamut will belong to Office's Cow's Brigade. Guerrera, Ultima, Testarossa, and Diablo are primordial that will be under Naruto's command. I am still seeing how Naruto will find their location while the true dragons, like Vidora, Volado, and Velgarin, are sealed for the moment Naruto will release them. In the case of Gilgamesh, I am still seeing how he will join Naruto. For the next one, I will list the 20 strongest. All of the top 10 are stronger than the celestial dragons. Chapter 12. Nobility Part 2. Currently, Naruto and his group were going to the location where Irene Baryon, the strongest dragon queen, was to recruit her. Since, according to the rumors, they heard the dragon queen, Irene Baryon, was at the level of the first level gods and was a woman who was persecuted by Zeus since he desired her power. So Naruto will recruit her and would offer protection in exchange for loyalty. After all, Naruto could protect the dragon queen from the god Zeus, leader of Olympus. Are you sure this is where the dragon queen Irene Valerian is? Naruto asked. Crom Crouch curiously. Yes, boss. This is the place where Irene resides. After all, I used to associate with her only Tiamat, and I know its exact location, so I highly doubt anyone else knows about this place, Cromcruk replied. Aruto sighed, but nodded in understanding. After all, he knew his new tower was sincere. He knew he had honor and wouldn't lie to him since Cromcy Crouch swore loyalty to him. Being two presences close, one is at the level of a super demon, perhaps a little higher, and the other is on par with a high-class demon, perhaps a low-level supreme class demon, commented Azil, somewhat impressed by the level of the first presence. I also feel the power levels of those two presences, and the truth is that the first one is something impressive. The power level of that presence is even higher than any of the four. Mayu. Kuramama commented seriously. The first power is Irene Sans. She is on par with a super demon, perhaps superior. She must have already felt my energy. So, she is getting closer. Although, from what I feel from her, she is cautious since she does not recognize her energy signatures. Crom Crouch reported. Naruto's group continued walking until a beam of red energy went towards the entire group, causing them to split up and put themselves on guard. Irene, you have no reason to attack us. We are not in this place to harm you or your daughter. You have no reason to worry, said Cromcy Crux seriously, but at the same time with some caution in case Irene tries to attack him again. Irene frowned at Cromcrouch's audacity and sent a torrent of magic towards all of Cromcrouch's companions. She would not trust these intruders. and would now kill Kruk if he did not give her a good reason to reveal her location to those intruders. What do you want, Kromkurich? And why are these people accompanying you? Irene asked coldly, unleashing a great deal of her power. Forming a large red dragon behind her, its eyes glowing red and its killing intent surging. Azrael, Kurama, Crom, Cruch, and Naruto opened their eyes in surprise. Since Irene's power is close to that of the celestial dragons, devils, even Azil realized that Irene may be at a higher level than his power. Now everyone realized the level of power of Irene and why the god Zeus wants her on his side. Well, Kruk, who knew Irene, was quite surprised since he did not think that his friend was so powerful. He thought that Maximo had a level comparable to that of Tiamat. You are a formidable woman. Irene Bularian, known as the Scarlet Destroyer or the strongest dragon queen, Naruto commented with a small smile and then exploded a part of his power, causing a redade humanoid to form behind young Citri that looked at the Dragon Queen in a creepy way, making Irene shudder a little since she felt his power and evil. Who are you, child, and what do you wish of me? Irene asked, realizing that the little boy was the leader of the group. She wondered how the hell Cruch let himself be bossed around by a child who wasn't even a teenager. She realized that the boy might be above the celestial dragons, maybe even above Hades or Odin, which intrigued her. I introduce myself. Dragon Queen. I am Naruto Citri, youngest son of the Citri house. I came to this place to recruit you and offer you, Dragon Queen, protection of the Greek faction. More specifically Zeus, the pathetic leader of Olympus, Naruto said with a smile. Trust the leader, Irene. You know very well that I would not bring someone in this place if he were not trustworthy. The leader has the power to protect you and your son from Zeus. Accept the offer of my leader, Irene said Kromkurich seriously. Irene thought about it for a few seconds. The proposal to protect the boy Naruto was very interesting. She knew that he is strong, maybe stronger than Zeus and Poseidon, but she knew well that she could not against a faction like the Greek one, not with so many high-level gods belonging to that faction. So the protection of the child Citri would be beneficial, and the child only asks for her loyalty. But she can give him if he can protect her and her daughter. And maybe with the training of all the high-level people around her, they can bring out the true potential of her daughter. Hein, I agree to join you, Citri boy, as long as you promise to protect me and my daughter from Zeus and his foolish delusions. Irene replied with a sigh, hoping that the decision she just made was the right one. So it seemed right to you to join my nobility. I have no problem with your daughter also joining my nobility, since from what I feel the power of your daughter, which I assume is the other presence, is considerably strong, and I know that with the proper training it can be strengthened much more, and who knows, maybe reach your level. Irene Bularian said, Naruto nodding to himself. Since joining Irene's daughter to her nobility, he knew it would be a good choice. After all, the power he currently feels for Irene's daughter is far above a high-class devil. Irene sighed but nodded. She had no problem becoming a demon. She knew that if she had Naruto's protection, she could be calmer in case the Greek faction tried something against her daughter. So, she had no problem being a demon. And she knew that her daughter also had no problem becoming a demon. I understand, and I have no problem joining your nobility along with my daughter. I can even recommend people to join you as long as you can provide them with the things they want. I think they can join you, Irene said. Seriously. Azrael, the angel of death, and Kurama, the nine-tailed Biju, were somewhat surprised that the Dragon Queen accepted Naruto's offer so easily, although they assumed it was because she wanted the Greek faction To back off and not bother her or her daughter. Volcram Crouch nodded with a sigh of relief. Since Irene accepted the offer of her new boss, he now knew that Irene and Oza would be calm and protected from the Greek faction, or rather more protected from the wrath of Zeus thanks to the power of Naruto and his people. Naruto had a small smile on his face. Now he had new allies, and who knows that with Irene's help he can recruit other high-level beings. Perfect. Irene saw, and let's go where your daughter is located. I will make you both members of my nobility, and I promise you that I will protect you with all my power. After all, my nobility is my family. Dragon Queen Irene Bularian, said Naruto with a small smile, since having Irene as an ally will increase his military power to a greater extent, and perhaps with her help he can recruit other Dragon Kings. I understand. Follow me. My cabin is a few minutes away. And please, do not increase your power. You may scare my daughter, since I can notice that your power individually is even greater than the Monkey King. So keep your power restricted, Irene ordered. Naruto and his fellow nobility nodded in understanding and had no problem lowering their power so as not to scare Irene's daughter. On the other side of the world, the demonic primordials were gathering. Or rather, the black primordial ordered them to gather. Well, why did you meet us, black primordial? It's not like you to ask us for a meeting. Not after we were sealed in the depths of the underworld by the biblical God, even before Lucifer rose up against the biblical God. The white primordial said, with some curiosity, since it was not like his fellow primordial to normally ask for a meeting. He was away from everyone. How strange. The second strongest primordial thought. Blanca is right. It's not like you to ask for a black meeting. So tell me what's going on, or what do you want, black? The yellow primordial asked seriously, frowning. He didn't understand what his primordial companion wanted. Hello and wide. Right. I'm intrigued to know what it is that you want. Black, said the purple primordial, curious rather than serious, since for her black was a rare primordial, even rarer than her, and that he would ask for a meeting is very strange. The black primordial looked at his fellow primordials with amusement. He knew that what he would tell them would leave them in shock. But it was time to tell them part of his plan and what his next master was going to do and who would serve him. After all, he knew that Naruto Citri already surpassed the power of his fellow primordials. The black primordial thought. The other three primordials looked cautiously at their fellow primordial as they saw that he had a smile, and that was bad, since whenever he had that face, the black primordial came out with strange ideas, and that made them cautious. White primordial, will black tell us what strange ideas you have, since by your face I can tell that you have a crazy idea that you are going to propose. I am correct, black. The black primordial looked at his fellow primordials with an amused smile, and with a small sigh he responded, black primordial, simple. For some time I have been watching a little demon in the underworld. This little demon is a child who may even be much stronger than any angel that the biblical God has created. Perhaps only Lucifer could face him. Although I am sure that the young demon can defeat him. That made the rest of the primordials curious, since they had met Lucifer, the strongest angel in heaven before his fall, and that idiot was very strong. After all, it was said that his power even rivaled the strongest gods like Hades and Odin, and he was even ranked among the 10 strongest existences. The three primordials thought, somewhat cautiously, since a demon of such great power was very strange. Since, according to what they were able to find out from the devil who watched over the world, there was no demon that surpassed the power of a celestial. And for a child to have the power to rival the 2 celestial dragons at the same time was very strange. Yellow primordial. And what does that concern us? That demon child may be strong. Maybe he occupies a position in the top 10, but we can't do anything. We are in this pathetic seal that the biblical God put on us. Our power is restricted and we don't have the power to see the outside world. Only you have it, and only for a couple of hours. This silly seal prevents us from seeing the world just because the biblical God considered us dangerous. The yellow primordial mocked at the end with a frown. When mentioning the biblical God, how he hated the God. Although he respected his power quite a bit, not being able to do anything. He was one of the strongest gods. Primordial purple. I agree with yellow. We can't leave this place because we're interested in what happens to the world. And what does that demon have to do with it? Who, although his power is impressive from what you tell us, has nothing to do with us. Diablo shook his head in amusement as he now had to convince the primordials to join and follow Naruto Citri. Black primordial simple Naruto Citri, who is the demon I'm talking to you about, is looking for the location where we are sealed. And I know he will succeed. I've been watching him, and he is an entity I wish to serve. And I recommend that you do so, since there will be greatness by his side. When the black primordial finished speaking, an aura of great power came out that could easily be compared to Indra, one of the 10 strongest existences, making the other 3 primordials sweat a little since their fellow primordial was not consulting them, but ordering them to follow the young demon he was watching. The white primordial looked curiously at his primordial companion, since it was very rare for the black primordial to behave that way. She knew that her primordial companion was strange. But he rarely behaved that way, which made her curious, since the black primordial would not follow someone weak. So she assumed that at least that child Naruto was as strange and powerful as black. That caused her intrigue. Maybe he would follow black. If the child could free them, that was a good choice. It's strange to see you so serious and using your power to recruit us to your cause, commented the yellow primordial, with a small drop of sweat from the power that was coming out of his primordial companion. I agree with yellow. It's strange to see you like that, said purple. Intrigued, but also with a drop of sweat. Due to the power of the black primordial. I'm intrigued by what you're saying, black. I'll tell you this. If the demon you're telling me about frees us, I'll follow him along with my armies, since it would be fair. He frees us and I'll be loyal to him. It's fair enough. Black, the white primordial said with a small smile, knowing well that this would calm the black primordial, but she was curious to meet the demon her primordial companion told her about. The yellow and purple primordials looked at the white primordial with great surprise, since after black, white was the strongest and proudest primordial, and out of nowhere he accepted black's offer, which intrigued them. Although both primordials were also in favor of white, since if the demon that black told them about frees them, they would serve them while the black primordial was under his power, since his white primordial companion accepted his proposal. Black primordial fine, since white accepted, and from what I see purple and yellow are thinking about it. He still has time to decide, since I estimate that in a short time Lord Naruto will be able to free us and my army will serve him, and I hope that you do too. Purple and yellow narrowed their eyes, but sighed they would follow their primordial companion along with their armies if the demon frees them. White primordial, I think I speak for all of us who accept your offer. Our armies will side with the demon you promised would free us. I give you my word, black, and you don't have to worry about me betraying you. You know well that I am a man of my word. Just like purple and yellow. Yellow and purple sighed and nodded. Being in favor of white, serving the person who frees them wouldn't be a bad thing at all. Black primordial. Perfect. But I also want to tell you that it seems that Lord Naruto not only wants to recruit us, but also apparently he is going on an even larger scale than ours. He is also going after the true dragons. The white, purple, and yellow primordials opened their eyes in surprise and disbelief. The primordial trio knew well how strong the true dragons are. Hell, only the black primordial would have the power to fight on par with the true dragons, and that was saying something. Since black is even stronger than the two celestial dragons, I can see why the demon you're watching over seems interesting to you if he wants to unleash such calamities on the world, the yellow primordial commented, laughing. It will be interesting to meet the demon who will free us, and I am intrigued by the level of power the young demon possesses, said the white primordial with a smile on his face. Meanwhile, Naruto and his group were going to the safe house where the Nakasho clan was after recruiting Irene Bullarian and Oza Bullarian, the first becoming Naruto's bishop and the second becoming Naruto's knight, both increasing their various attributes to such an extent that even their magic reserves increased considerably. After a couple of hours, the entire group was able to reach the safe house to introduce Irene and Oza to the Nasho clan. I see that you finally arrived, Naruto, and you were able to recruit some very interesting people, Yoruchi said with a small smile. But internally, she was surprised that Naruto was able to recruit such high-level beings to the point that some of those beings easily surpassed the Monkey King. I would even say that one of them is above a celestial dragon, which surprised her quite a bit. It's a pleasure to see you again, Yoruchi-chan. Karoka-chan, I present to you the new members of the group. The youngest redid it as Oza Bullion. The second oldest redid as Irene Bullion. The young black-haired man who has an angel aura is Azil, the seraph of death and deserter from heaven. The black-haired man with blonde hair is Crom Cruch. The strongest evil dragon, said Naruto with a smile as he introduced his new companions. Baroa and Yoruchi opened their eyes in shock and disbelief as they both knew those names. How could they not know if most of them could even fight the current Lucifer? And even one of them could rival, if not surpass, a celestial dragon. Something amazing in their eyes. I'm very surprised that you were able to recruit the strongest dragon queen and the strongest evil dragon and even managed to recruit the one who is considered one of the strongest Seraphim. It is said that even the combined power of Gabriel and Michael could not against him. You are very amazing. Naruto, I see why you are the leader. I expect great things from you, commented Yoruchi smiling. I agree with Yoruchi Nia with this military power even the factions would be threatened since with you and Kurama who are easily in the top 10 of the strongest Nia. I hope to be as strong as you said. Karoka amused. You will be strong Kurochan. That's why I left you in the safe house so you can get stronger with Yoruchi's help, said Naruto with a smile since he had just felt Karoka's power and she is at the level of a high supreme class demon although lower than the male level 4. The moment Karoka smiled and nodded, she will become stronger for her leader and best friend. After all, she owes him a lot since he gave her a place to be safe and saved her life. She will return everything they did for her with her loyalty. And by becoming stronger after all, Naruto is someone worthy to follow. You don't have to worry, Naruto. The projects are moving at a speed even higher than agreed. So you have nothing to worry about. Calm down and come with me to the meeting room, so I can inform you in more detail, said Yoruchi. Naruto sighed in relief that the projects were going according to what he had agreed with Kisuke. So he followed Yoruchi and frowned at the members of his peerage to accompany them to the meeting with the Nasho leader. End of chapter. Chapter 13. Meeting Hades. Currently Naruto, Kurama, and Crom Cruch were heading to a meeting with the god Hades, supreme god of the underworld, for an alliance between Naruto and Hades. In this meeting, there will also be the goddess of the home, Hesta, and one of the few kindest and strongest gods, and at the same time, most trusted by Hades. The strongest Greek. On the other hand, Azil, the angel of death, and Irene Bularin, the Dragon Queen, went to recruit the fire brothers known as Sabo and Ace, on the orders of their leader, Naruto, since the young Citri suspected that those two were half-demons of the Phoenix clan, since he knew that the brother of the leader of that clan had a wife, but both died, leaving two half-demon half-human children who disappeared. Naruto suspected that those missing children were those two brothers. So it would be beneficial for young Citri to recruit both brothers after all. They both have a lot of potential being half-human. In addition, he also wanted to recruit the youngest daughter of the Phoenix, and soon he will do it after all from that clan. That girl has enormous potential in the opinion of the demon Citri. Do you think Hades will accept the alliance proposal? Kromsi Crouch asked curiously. Since he knew the power of Hades and knew well that that god is very powerful, and he doubted that he would accept the alliance as if nothing, especially with a demon like his leader, the dragon. He knew that Hades hated demons and crows, and with angels he was neutral at best. So he was somewhat nervous about this meeting. After all, Hades is not a game, and they were entering his territory. Sometimes he believed that his leader was suicidal for going straight to the underworld of Hades of the Greeks. I think at least Hades will think about it. We don't expect an alliance right now, but we hope that Hades thinks well about an alliance with us. We will give him enough time. After all, Hades is not on good terms with Olympus. So having more allies will be beneficial for us and for him. Although it will be a little complicated since he hates the biblical factions, especially the demons, because of the siskin we have for Lucifer. Kurama answered seriously. But in the end, snorting as he remembered the pathetic leader of the underworld who almost made a Madarasu burn down the __ hell. He did not understand Lucifer. Was he an idiot if they massacred the kittens of the sun goddess Hell and all its inhabitants would be destroyed? After all, the Shintoists are the strongest faction along with the Hindu. Not even Office the Dragon of Infinity will attack either of the two factions despite being the top one. After all, both factions account for several beings that were at the top of the top 10. I agree with Kurama. Maybe we won't get an alliance now. But in the future, I know that at some point Hades will ask us for the alliance. If he rejects us now, I know it will be complicated because he is a demon. But I trust that Hades will think about it. After all, I am not the pathetic Lucifer that we have as a leader, Naruto said. Sighing. He hoped that Hades would accept the alliance quickly. But snorting in the end, remembering the pathetic demon he had as a leader. He didn't kill him because he knew that his sisters and parents would get angry, and he loves his family very much and didn't want them to have problems with the Grimoires. Do you think Azil and Irene will be able to recruit those two fire brats? Kurama asked curiously, since adding those brats to Naruto's ranks would be beneficial. He would personally train those brats well so that they become Satan-level powers, or maybe higher. Only time will tell if they manage to join Naruto. You don't have to worry. Kurama told Irene and Azil that if the boys didn't accept that he captured them, since I need to talk to both of them, Naruto said calmly, as if kidnapping someone was something normal. Kurama nodded while Crom Kruk thought that his leader was sometimes strange. He didn't understand why he wanted those fire users. But as long as they don't bother him, he doesn't care. We are now close to the place where we will meet with Hades, said Kurama, squinting at the large mansion. As there were hundreds of energies of a level comparable to a mid-ranked demon, and dozens at the level of a high-rank demon, as well as 2 energies that surpass any of the Foru. One assumed that it is Hades, one of the strongest gods, being in the top 10 of the strongest beings, while the other energy was almost twice as strong as that of the Siskin, who was its leader in the underworld. Prom Crouch looked at the mansion with caution. He wasn't so worried about those low-level bodyguards. They may be in quantity, but he is quality. The only thing that worried him was fighting Hades and the other presence that may be at Irene's level. He wanted a good battle, but he was still in doubt if he could fight Hades. I see that you felt the presences that are in the mansion and the other energy. That I suppose is a Hyle god. But calm down. You were not here to battle against Hades and his companion. So, let's go in now. I suppose that Hades will have sensed us. After all, our level of power is not easy to hide completely, said Naruto. Seriously. The trio continued talking as they walked towards the mansion until suddenly a Grim Reaper appeared in front of Naruto and his group, causing Naruto to stop and stare at Hades' servant. Hades' servant. Hades-sama is waiting for you. Please follow me and don't do anything strange or we will finish you off. Naruto sighed. He didn't like the way that Cockroach spoke to him. But he nodded since he wanted to meet with Hades as quickly as possible and followed Hades' servant along with his 2 companions. Hades' servant seemed impassive on the outside, but inside he was very nervous since 2 of these beings had greater energy than his lord and another was on equal footing with his lord. Hades' servant only prayed that nothing bad would happen since he knew that his lord was strong. But he could not defeat the 3 entities that were at his side. Especially the child who apparently is the leader of the trio in his power. He calculated that he may be on par with that god called Indra. Perhaps a little inferior. He was not sure. Meanwhile, with Hades and Hesta, both gods were feeling the powerful presences of Naruto and his 2 bodyguards. Both assumed high-level gods. And both gods were very amazed since the strongest presence was at the level of Lord Indra, a Hyle Supreme category god who was the rival of the god Shiva, god of destruction, and a god who was at the top of the top 10 of the strongest existences. Brother, you feel those 3 great presences. One is comparable to Thor, god of thunder, and the strongest Norse god. The other is at your level. But the strongest presence is at a level comparable to Indra. Those 3 presences are very dangerous. I think it would take all 12 Olympians to have a chance against those 3 beings, said Hesta. Now, yes, seriously, since those presences were very strong, even Typhoon could not against those 3 beings. Blue Sister, but Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun and the leader of Shinto, told me that as long as I don't attack the boy who is the leader of that group, she will not attack me. And I know that Amaterasu is of her word. I will meet with that little demon since Amaterasu recommended him to me. I am interested in the proposal of that demon. I do not hate all demons, only Lucifer. For how idiotic he is, and I see the rest as pests, but there are some of which I respect their power or their knowledge, Hades said simply.